Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Two Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys our first impressions of the brand new album from Gojira titled Fortitude. Before we get started here, I just want to remind you guys that we got to deal with Slay Thy Name. If you use the code TwoToeTags, you get 15% off your name being slayed. Just thought I'd remind you guys.
Links in the description.
Anyway, with that being said, a brand new Gojira album dropped today. My excitement is through the roof. I love this band so much. They're one of my favorite bands. They've released multiple songs from this album already. All of them are great. It's just, for me, so far the most anticipated album of the year.
Yeah, I'm a pretty new fan with Gojira. TV Fish recently got me into them. We reviewed L'Enfant Sauvage. Amazing album. I did check out a lot of their other stuff. All good stuff. And yeah, the songs that I've heard so far off this new record are all bangers. I have not listened to all of them. I know they've released a couple that I didn't check out because I kind of didn't want to ruin a lot of the surprise. But we reacted to a couple of the videos. Love those. Yeah, the hopes are high. The hype is high. I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
With that being said, we're going to check out Fortitude for the very first time in its entirety. And we'll be right back to give you guys our first impressions, so stay put. Alright, we just listened to Fortitude for the very first time, and I'm going to take the floor and say that this was a really good album. And before I get into tracks, I just want to say one of the biggest things that really stood out to me was the way Joe was singing on this album. A lot more melodic than I've heard from other Gojira albums, and it's interesting. It's slightly off-putting because I'm not used to hearing that, but I like it. I like that it gives a lot of character to this album, makes it stand out on its own among their discography already, but it's also just good sounding. A good example of that is track number 10, The Trails. Like, honestly, and you mentioned this as we were listening to the album, that, you know, there's some aspects of this band that are comparable to Mastodon, and I agree. And honestly, The Trails is a good example of that. Like, you put that song on, you kind of think you're listening to a Mastodon song.
You can get that feeling for sure, yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool, but hearing Joe sing melodically, like, you know, more than kind of this, like, hybrid, harsh, clean vocal that he does a lot of the time, was really cool sounding. And another example of that was in track 7, The Chant. You saw that a lot, you know, as well there, and a melodic chorus which kind of sounds like they're breaking a little bit of new ground, because like I said, you don't really hear that as much from this band, or at least not in the same way. As for my favorite tracks, my highest rated track was track number 9, Into the Storm, which, I'm going to be honest, I rated a 10. I think it's a perfect song, incredible, and one of the biggest reasons is Mario on the drums. Throughout this entire album, he's great. He's a great drummer overall.
Yeah.
But one of the sickest things he does with this song, first of all, the ride bell he's playing sounds like a train.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love
pretty cool
that you've got that illusion there that he's just playing this groove, but it's probably a really big ride bell that he's playing on, and it sounds like a train is moving. So he's playing 3 different polyrhythms.
I call it a poly-olly rhythm.
Sure. Between his right hand, his left hand, and his feet. And I think that sounds awesome, that you can pick out all the independence of his limbs, and it's amazing.
The amount of skill involved in that, too, is
it's really cool.
Yeah.
So, just all the grooves of that song line up and are cool. The chorus is awesome, the bridge is awesome. Just everything about the song is super duper strong, and I love it. As for other songs I like, Born for One Thing, amazing song. In a similar sense to Into the Storm, how just everything sounds great. The grooves are great, the riffs are great, it's heavy, it's awesome. I also really liked the last track, Grind. That's a really cool track, honestly, for similar reasons, but there's 2 things this song does. First of all, it's a really cool groove in 10/8 at the beginning, which is cool sounding. But the outro to this song, which is a little bit common for this band, I find Gojira, they will just let a groove just pretty much vamp.
They're a groove band.
All the way out to the end.
Yeah, they're a groove band, for sure.
But with this song specifically, they let the bass take control all the way to the very end.
Which was fucking sick.
We both love when there's focus on the bass and when bass gets some love. So it's awesome to see it happen for a Gojira album, and it just takes you away. And I find that happens a lot with this band and their music. It kind of just takes you away on the ride with a groove.
Yeah, so you know what? Just because you mentioned these two songs, you mentioned The Chant and The Trails, so track 7 and track 10. Those are two of my lowest rated tracks. Not that I didn't really like them, I just didn't have a lot. They didn't have a lot going for them for me to.
Are you referring to The Chant or The Trails? Because The Trails is track 10, but you said track 7.
And I mentioned both The Trails. You mentioned both. I'm talking about both.
Oh, okay.
They're both my lowest. Some of my lowest rated songs.
Brain fart.
Anyways, not to dump on them, but I just didn't really have a lot. They didn't have a lot going for them that really grabbed me, at least on a first impressions. This album for me started off very strong and started to go through a bit of a lull. Again, not that it was bad. I was grooving along to it, enjoying it, but didn't have much notes to write. Nothing that was really standing out going, wow, this is awesome, this is awesome. So Born for One Thing, first track, out with a bang, sick song. Amazonia, second song, amazing. Another World, third song, amazing. Hold On, Newfound, tracks 4 and 5, also really good, really good. After that, starts taking a little bit of a dip for me. But then, and I know you've already talked about track 11, Grind, the last song. Dude, this fucking song is something else. Now, you've already mentioned a bunch of cool things about it. I'm not going to mention them again because it's already been said. But one thing you didn't mention was the Ghost Note blast beat, which was fucking dirty, and I've never heard it before, but he literally does a blast beat in Ghost Notes. I was floored. I was like, what the fuck is this? This guy is a genius. He's just coming up with stuff. He's like got a magic hat full of tricks. This drummer, right? He's just got a magic. He's going, what can I throw in this song? He's like, oh, fucking polyrhythm with 3 different rhythms. Ghost blast beat. Ghost Note. Like, blows my mind.
Most good drummers will have a really big magical hat.
Yes.
With tricks.
And as you're listening throughout the album, there's stuff like this sprinkled all over the place. Some of the rolls this guy throws in, you're just sitting there, you're listening, and then all of a sudden it'll happen, and you'll go, whoa, that was fucking cool. Not to take away from any of the other instruments, the riffing on this album is sweet. The guitar tones on this album are sweet. There's a lot going on here that I really just... It's the kind of album I'm really going to love putting on and just fucking rocking out to it. Just letting it go and just whatever. What the fuck ever. I enjoyed it. The songs that I was calling lulls and, you know, whatever, these, I believe, will grow on me over time. Because, again, we listened to it one time. Sometimes it's hard to really get a feel for something when they're changing their flow and they're changing their pace and they're kind of, you know... It kind of goes all over the place a little bit, but not in a way that sounds messy. It still sounds very concise and very well put together, but it does go in a lot of directions, and they experiment a lot.
I do think that this album went in some new places for Gojira, and I think it worked out really well. In regards to The Chant, I actually mentioned when we were listening to it that this is the kind of song that will grow on you. Like, by the end of the week, you're going to be singing with that chorus, I can guarantee it.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do not doubt that for a second. We will see how that goes. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to listening to this much, much more.
Oh yeah, I'm really happy with what we got so far, and I'm really excited to listen to this throughout the entire week. We're both going to check it out over and over and over, and we'll be right back next week to give you guys a review of Fortitude. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you today. Remember to like the video if you liked it. Comment, tell us in the comments below what are your thoughts. The album is brand new. We love to hear your guys' opinions. Subscribe if you guys are new, and remember to check out Slay Thy Name. Use code Toe Tags to get 15% off. I'm TV Fish,
and I'm Wild Self,
and we'll see you guys later.